This video will be about setting up viewports in Rhino so you can do your final output. So let's go back where we left off. Alright, so one thing we do need to do is we need to go ahead and copy these layers one more time. And we'll call this our final. And we can get rid of the notes. Let's go ahead and turn off this one and slide this thing back in. So that represents the final part of this design. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is click on this plus sign here and create a new layout. Landscape, make sure actually Ledger and 11 by 17 are the same thing, so don't get confused if it defaults back to Ledger. And so that's the way we want it. Oh. Strike that. Let's go to layout properties by right clicking here. Make sure it's on landscape. Okay. Now it's set up for one. I didn't go through one other thing. Now that should do it. Okay, so it's got one viewport. That viewport is set up to be top view, so we want to change that by set view. It's just off the screen, but you go down right here underneath pan zoom, you got set view, and change that to perspective, and then change it to be a technical. Okay, if you click inside of it, you activate it. Click outside of it, you activate the layout, which is just a blank sheet of paper. So if you want to resize that, let's just go ahead and pull one of the vertices and just get it down to a size that is close to, I think, our final output if we looked at the other starting image. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to change this viewport properties to be 18 again. And zoom in till you get, you can see kind of both streets going from the corner. Something that you like about right there is good for me. And I'm going to name that viewport my diagram view. This is a great thing to do. If you start swinging this around, you always want to be on that angle. You can just click on it, it goes straight back. It'll remember if you're 18 millimeter. If you happen to change that, it'll set it right back to 18 millimeter. So that's our view. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a title block that I will give to the class. So we've got to go find that. And make sure it's a block instance. You don't need to do any of this. And make sure you link it, just in case you need to make changes to it. Alright, you might notice it's really small. Let's go ahead and delete that. I think what's happening is if we look under options, since this was originally a meters file, it's still set up for the layout. Model's set up for feet now, but layout is set up for millimeters. So we're just going to change that to inches and go ahead and tell it yes. And then zoom in, and now let's insert that block again. So it's already set up to be inserted. It's still small. We're going to scale it at the origin by 12. And that should get us where we need to be. Let's go ahead and measure something. Okay, 17 inches. Okay, so everything's good. Now you can insert these blocks and you can edit them later if you need to by just double clicking on them. It'll open up a separate Rhino, and in that you can go in and you can edit. You can add something like that. I'll go ahead and do it and just close and save, and then what it does is now it's brought it in. So it's pretty nice, pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and delete that anomaly, and we'll get on world. Okay, so now you have that. You have an assignment place, you have your name, your TA's name, our class. Alright, so let's add some text to this. We'll just add some special text. We stick that kind of right here in the center of that form. And we're going to add special text that is the page name. By hitting this FX here, hitting that, it's basically a function. And you have all these things that you could be selecting: date, page name. And it has these interesting characters. We're going to increase the size of it. We're going to increase the layout. You might as well just use the fonts I'm using. And we'll make sure it's there and centered. Say OK. You see it automatically picked up the name of the layout sheet. So if I rename it, just by right clicking and going to rename, I'll just call it, this is assignment 1, pretty simple. And you see there, assignment 1, I might want to move this up, and there you are. So anytime this changes, that dynamically changes. Pretty cool. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to place these 4 of these viewports so that we can get all of our various transformations. I'm going to go ahead and use what's called division or divide, and divide that line by 4. So there you go, there's that. And I'm going to copy that point. I'm going to move it over 0.0625, and that should work. And I'm just going to draw a line between that one and that point I just created. And let's rotate that. Okay. Whoa. Didn't need the big one, I need the little one. And rotate that little one there 90 degrees. Then I'm just going to move this and enlarge it by using the points on, or clicking that, edit points. And I'm going to move that point to there, move this point to, move that point to there. One more time. There. Alright, so that's the size of the viewport I'm going to want to go ahead and copy. Before I do that, let's look at its properties. You can set up a scale. Obviously it's perspective, so I don't need a specific scale, but you can use this to kind of look at, 0.125 to 1 foot would be 1/8 of an inch. And so on and so forth. But what I really want to do is go ahead and lock it. And what that means is that anytime I double click inside of this, I can pan, I can zoom in, and I'm not going to change the viewport scale or location. If it's unlocked, I can do things of that nature. But then I'd want to go back here, click on that, get it locked back in. So go ahead and not under this, but under that detail properties, go ahead and lock it. Okay, now get rid of all these points, I think. And not yet. Alright, now we'll copy. there. And then I'll copy some more there and one more there. Now I can get rid of the points. Alright, now let's just align this, these viewports to the middle. Page, that line I just drew. That line. Okay, so now we have a pretty clean environment. And so this is, I can go to print right now, but we don't really have the transformation set up. So we need to do a few other things. One, I've got all this information on kind of a final. Let's go ahead and create a new, and this will be drawings layer, and then inside of that we'll put viewports, and inside of drawings we'll also put text. Okay, so our viewports I'm going to put on the viewport layer, so I'm just going to change the objects to that, and then I'm also going to make sure the print width, if you didn't know it, all of your layers have print width. And I'm going to hit the default, I'm going to go down to no print. Now that doesn't mean that what's in the viewport won't print, but what it means is this outline will not print. Okay? Because I don't like the framing. The other thing we're going to do is then put the block information. We'll go ahead and put it on this text. We'll change that. Okay. We need to add some text, so we're just going to type in text. And we're going to make that, say, 0.125. Maybe not so bold. Maybe Arial. And we'll put in your name. So I'll just put in my name. And let's go ahead and edit that. It wants to be left, not centered. And it probably wants to be above that line. And then for the TA's name, I'll just copy that down. And just add Alex Blair's name, but put in your TA. And then we should probably get a title to each one of these. And we'll wait and then start to fix these so we know what to title them. Now in each of these I created this design, and what I would like you guys to do is each kind of individually customize the design in some way. So that's the plan. So you all might have slightly different names for each one of these. So here we go. What you do is you see this new viewport. This is the detail on. Essentially you can control what layers are on for each viewport. So if I turn everything on, let's go ahead and minimize those or collapse them. And see everything is on, but now in this one I don't want the origin on, I just want the first transformation on. So I'm going to have them all on this column. On this column I'm going to start turning the rest of them off. Okay, so I have final is off, so that looks pretty good. And this one, I'm going to turn off transformation 1, but have those on. And this one, first two off, that one on, and then this one, all these are off, but then that one's on. Okay, so you might notice that those arrows are black at the moment. Another command is called PrintDisplay. I love this command it shows, if I put the state to on, it'll show whatever color you've defined over here in detail print color, or in here, print color right here. It'll show up that exact color, and it'll turn on line weights if you have line weights showing. At the moment, let's see, let's just draw something. I'm on final, let's see, let me get out into drawing mode. Okay. And then I'll offset that. Okay, so let's just quickly change the properties here to print width to be, for this one, something rather large, and this one is something kind of half that size. You can see where I'm going with this. It shows up. So you actually can see your line weight before you print. It's brilliant. On screen, right there. Okay, so we have now each one of these looks about right. Let's start titling them. We'll call this the public I don't have public street lift. I'm going to take off the capitalization. And I'm just going to copy that. And edit it. And then I'll just say pull away. This will be the Okay, so one last thing to do. We're going to go to print. Now here you can see it turned to ledger. Don't worry about that. It's actually still a tabloid or 11 by 17. You're going to want to hit properties. You're going to want to make sure that it's not on standard. That'll be the default. You want to be on press quality. That's the first thing you must do. Next thing, that should be good. It should be good. Layout, that's fine. The other thing is arrowhead. Arrowhead I think will be on 10 as a default. And you see that the arrows are looking really obnoxious. Go ahead and try 3 and see what that looks like. You might play with that and get it to be just right. A viewport display, I think we want that on there. But we'll do a test and see, take a look. Okay, so this will be, now you'll want to make it your name. The naming convention I have in the syllabus is absolutely correct. But I'm just going to call it that. So yes. And let's take a look. Okay, it looks like our dashed lines look pretty good. Our arrows are looking pretty darn good. Yeah, you can see the technical is giving us kind of proper line weight without even going to make 2D. Let's take a look at this. Search, our name, assignment. Alright, that's it.